Welcome to my show. I'm a guest here. Her name is Catia Carrier. Mrs. Katia, how are you doing, ma?
I'm doing great today. I think it's a wonderful day into health, and I'm excited.
All right. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Mrs. Katia. Firstly, you are an author. You are also a physiotherapist and a president of Majestic Consulting. Can you please, Mrs. Katia, discuss more about yourself and how you are doing currently now, Mrs. Katia?
So I guess I can start from just being in the helping field as a young person in my 20s, and then going through 10 years of acquired or who suffered from post-traumatic stress. So I built my career around helping people. I am a registered psychotherapist. I've been doing work for 24 years in my practice. I own Majestic Professional Consulting. It is a trauma healing practice, and it specializes in different formats and methodologies for trauma healing. Trauma response as well when it comes to workplaces and communities and families.
Yes, which shows that what you are doing is such a blessing. Even if you have been doing it for more than 20 years now, it is really a blessing in our time because trauma is a real thing today. And we definitely need to fetch these people out because trauma is something that cause a lot of things that could affect someone's suicidal thoughts or stuff like that. So helping someone in this perspective is very, very beautiful, very needed in our time now. And that is why I would like to dive to your book, Mrs. Katia, Secret of Your Majestic Heart. Can you please, Mrs. Katia, discuss more on that book? And do you also plan to write more books in the coming future, Mrs. Katia?
Yes. So, Secrets of Your Majestic Heart, Your Sacred Journey to Healing, was all about different methodologies of post traumatic stress, how trauma gets into the brain, how trauma gets into the mind, how trauma gets into the conscious, uh, subconscious, unconscious, how it gets into your body, how it causes disease, which is sickness. So what I've done is I've taken every possible avenue that you can think about when it comes to trauma, including Western medicine. I put it all together in a holistic format. For every trauma methodology that there is, I added the heart tool method. So when patients or clients or victims heal from trauma, post traumatic stress, they're able to connect with the heart because that's what's been missing. It's missing in the Western methodologies. It's missing in science and how we treat trauma all over the world. Connecting with your heart was something that was never mentioned. When I went to school for 10 years in university, they never once mentioned you got to connect with your heart and soul and really want it. And you got to heal from the inside out as well, not the outside with all these pharmaceuticals and all these cognitive, your traditional methodologies and strategies that are put in all these books for the past 2 decades are not working, right? It works at a certain level, but not the whole person, the holistic person. So this is where I incorporated the heart energy, and everybody has a heart. If you're still breathing and sitting here, we all have a heart that pumps, and we all have a heart that does certain systems in our body, but we also have an energy system. And I discovered that through as a survivor, but I also discovered it using my own techniques on myself and then transferring that to my clients over the past 10, 15 years. Yeah.
Very, very awesome. Honestly speaking, that is just the truth. This trauma that we have is definitely something that we need to heal spiritually and also in our inner self. And that is why I really like the book Majestic Heart. That place is very important because the heart is very, very important. And that is where we need to deal with. Even I remember during my time, there was a time in my life that every single time I just use medicine, 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 medicine. And most of the time, that is not just the case. Medicine will just do its part for some time. When it gets to a time, it comes back again. We have to fix what is in the heart, majestic heart. And that is what we definitely need to solve. And I would also like to the place where trauma really impacts us, not just mentally and physically. How do you think trauma has really impacted us, not just even mentally and physically, but also spiritually and energetically, Mrs. Katia?
As we know through the books, again, trauma affects the heart, mentally and physically, but on a spiritual and energetic level. um, when we're traumatized as human beings, whether it is individual trauma, collective trauma, community trauma, workplace trauma, relationship trauma, it forms pathways. It forms energetic pathways. And these pathways have memory cells, pathways in our chakras, which is our energy system in the human body. And also, it's unprocessed trauma in the organs. So it sits in the organs. It can sit in your physiological systems as well. And both the subconscious, the unconscious lost, and it's very powerful. And it'll protect us from all types of triggers, memories, negative emotions. So when we're treating spiritually and energetically, if we ignore those systems, we will never heal as a whole human being and never reach our full potential because we're ignoring two systems, and then it's not going to work. By forming pain pathways, our memory cells in our chakras, our energy systems, our bodies, and also by retaining unprocessed trauma in our organs and other systems such as the subconscious and the unconscious mind. So the emotional mind is connected to us spiritually and energetically, and it's very highly intelligent, and it's powerful, and it'll protect us from any type of trauma. So that's why incorporating spiritual and energetic healing within yourself, within your core, is so important if you want to heal as a whole person, and get to your full potential, your highest quality, your highest version of your healed self.
Yes, that is very, very important. And that is just the main thing. We have to definitely check on the inner self to definitely see the full potential that we need to also heal ourselves. Because when we are wounded, we always have it spiritual, we always have it physically and also mentally. It affects every single part of our body. So we have to definitely work on the inner self spiritually so we can definitely get the healing that we definitely need. And also, there could also be tools that you could also recommend to go on this journey of healing. So, what do you think are some of the metaphysical or also the energetic tools you think you could recommend for people to also use in their healing journey, Mrs. Katia?
As you said, Temi, traumatic experiences are not just mental, emotional, and at a spiritual and energetic cellular level. So, by exploring metaphysical and spiritual approaches, of course, we can access our heart soul's energy. And in that energy, in that healing inner energy, are gifts, right? It's telling us how we can heal, what we need to do to heal, what we need to stay away from, what we need. Having self love, having self compassion for our own hearts is what's going to get into the spiritual and metaphysical healing pathways, if you will. So, from this unique individual space, recognizing spirit, recognizing, I call it the sacred sphere in my book. So, it's between your nervous system, your emotions, and your heart. There's an area there in your solar plex, which is the sacred sphere. And when you get connected to that through all kinds of metaphysical, also through cultural healing. Every culture has their own healing techniques and how they derived in terms of promoting their healing in their culture. So if you look at every culture across the globe and you put them all together, that is called soul healing, right? It's the collective healing of different cultures. And I mentioned that in my book. But so from this space, humans can discover pathways, their inner healing, resolve spiritual trauma, which will allow other traditional methods and approaches to strengthen those neural pathways of healing. Medications, I mean, they numb out. They may help you and take off the edge, but it doesn't heal the neural pathways. where trauma would start, which is in the heart, which is in the soul, knowing that something bad happened to you, and your heart remembers it. We have trillions of cells in our hearts, and a lot of those cells are memory cells.
Definitely, I agree. Then, as you said earlier, the nervous, the heart, and also probably the soul that as you said earlier is very important. And also, every single culture have the way they are healing. You know, I'm a very Nigeria Yoruba guy, so we definitely also are, but definitely getting it together shows that there's a collective soul healing. Because no matter what I want to remember, whether I'm young, whether I'm old, whether the things that have happened to me during my past, thing, it comes through the heart. I will definitely reflect it, and that is why the inner soul is very important no matter what you are doing. The tablet could do the rest. You know, the tablets we are using could do the rest of the job, but it shouldn't be the first thing we need to check on. We have to also check on ourselves first to deal with those areas that you said earlier, and also the insight that you've brought out from the experience you put into your lovely book. And also, I would like to know, when someone is doing this thing to just help him or herself, to heal him or herself and this trauma that he or she has found himself or herself, how do you feel like they can know that they are making progress when they are healing from this area, Mrs. Katia?
Basically, you know when progress is happening to you because you have a sense of stillness in your heart and soul. You have a sense of connectedness, knowing your pain, you're able to self-soothe. Your triggers are subsiding. The flooding of negative memories are not holding so much space in your mind, in your heart, in your nervous system, and you're able to actually feel some happiness. So when the heart is not happy, it's full of trauma or anger or hatred or sadness, it's not a contented heart, right? It wants to be happy. Your heart technically wants to be happy, and what happens through life experiences, we have all this trauma. So when you know your heart can feel some gratitude, when it feels some joy, when it feels some happiness, even excitement, then you know you're starting your healing path and it's working, because just as much as your heart feels pain and sorrow, in fear and insecurities, your heart can feel the opposite too, right? So we can't live our hearts where it's beating every day until we take our last breath with all this pain. It knows happiness. It knows how to be satisfied. So you have to listen to it because it has the recipe. So that's how you know when you're overcoming some trauma, is when your heart starts to feel better and a lot of your symptoms are subsiding and you're able to self-soothe. You're able to find comfort in connecting with your heart. It's the coherence of it.
Wow, very beautiful. That shows that one will definitely know if the healing is happening. That shows that there are some features within the arts that will definitely be coming out. How we're definitely responding to the inner pain and the inner trauma that we've experienced. We definitely see some difference with the way we respond, with the way the thinking comes. You know, sometimes it just spark. And we have to just know that this thing is coming again, and the way it's passing through and not causing so much damage in the position one has find himself. If it's subsiding, if it's reducing, then we know that the development is actually coming in. And that is the beauty. That is what we want. We want the development. Honestly, we have to agree, Mrs. Katia, it will take time, but we have to continue to be persistent and patient with the body, because that the body could fix itself so that we could definitely have a fulfilled and happier life. And also, I also like to ask Mrs. Katia, if there is also one thing you feel like is spiritually lost currently. Some people might be listening, there might be one thing that you think is spiritually lost, even regarding your book, The Majestic Heart, or emotionally overwhelmed. What do you think is the first step someone can take today if they feel like they are spiritually lost or they are emotionally overwhelmed? I know you've discussed more on the area that we have to check on a lot of things. You know, our heart is very important. But what do you think is the first thing they need to do to fix this thing, Mrs. Katia?
You're suffering from a spiritual disconnect. Um, a lot of people spiritually did. So what does the heart do? In science, they say fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, right? You disconnect. We don't want to go in there to feel the pain and to know how awful it is because it's scary. We don't know what to do with it. But my methods definitely are very safe to go into the heart because you have to feel it to heal it. So the heart loves self-love. The heart loves self-compassion, right? The heart loves love energy. So when you give yourself that love, that self-compassion, whatever that may be, it feels heard, it feels understood, it feels validated, it feels acknowledged, and you actually can hold space. So when you're in a traumatic state, you ain't holding space for your heart. You're in fight or flight mode. You're in survivor mode. You're in trauma response. You ain't holding space. You're trying to get away from your heart, right? And your soul and your nervous system and your feelings, they're scary. You don't want them. So we run away. But we have to go back and return to it. So I think going back to self compassion, self love, and going through the emotions of feeling insecure, sadness, scared, overwhelmed, acknowledging your heart's energy, sit in the uncomfortable pain. Your heart's a wonderful tool. If you went through a traumatic experience, whether it was an accident or mental or emotional, physical trauma, your heart beat it right through it, and you're still breathing today. So if it could do that, beat right through it, keep you going through your trauma, it knows what to do to heal all those processes that embedded in your memory cells, embedded in the amygdala in the brain. So knowing your heart that is more powerful than what you think and what you know, just that knowing, that acknowledgement is powerful in itself because it's within you. So you have this powerful heart and it's beating inside of you, then you have to go in there and know that it can carry you, it has you, it kept working through your trauma, and it works in many, many ways for healing capacities. So I always tell people, knowing and trusting that your mind, body, heart, and soul have the tools within to overcome the feeling and the wisdom and power to accept feelings and not be scared of your feelings and befriend you have to befriend your own nervous system because the nervous system is always impacted. That internal, I call it the trio pathway, is comforting because it allows us somehow, we know no matter where we go or what we're conquering, we have the emotional confidence, the spiritual capacity to sit with ourselves and not be scared anymore. And in that process of not being scared is your natural guidance without medicine, without other methodologies that treats symptoms, and it treats the root cause of where trauma continues to exacerbate in the system of symptoms and suffering as well.
Yes, you just give one of the best ingredients that could definitely help one. Very, very important. Self love is very important. And we have to give the positive energy within ourselves, which shows that you will definitely be a very, very calm and happy person because you definitely know the secret ingredient and you've used it and it has helped you massively. Because this body that we have is just like something that we are being brought in this world to. We are not in school. We have been to school, they haven't taught us anything that this is how this body goes, this is how you should manage it, and this is how you should do it. We never taught that. And that is the issue. So we have to know things like this. It is very important. Self love and also giving that positive energy is very important. That positive energy is very important because when we are having pain, the heart is in a position where it wants self compassion, it wants this self love, it wants this kind of positive energy. It needs that thing. So we shouldn't give it that negative one because it makes it worse and worse and worse. We need that positive one to fight that negative one so that we can have that energy and fulfillment. That is one of a very, very important thing that we could do that would definitely help us to grow that healing that we need. Lastly, Mrs. Katia, if there is one message from your book, Majestic Arts, I just secrets of your Majestic Arts that you hope live or heart or readers could benefit, what is that one message you think you could bring out, Mrs. Katia?
The message that's very strong and I emphasize in my book is the heart requires peace and happiness, and the heart's on its journey too. And um, you can take all the medication and distract and um, go against what your heart wants, but until you require the peace, the harmony, and the happiness inside your heart, you need to feed your heart, basically, right? So just like we feed our bodies, we feed our minds, we need to feed our hearts. And to feed your heart, sure, we can put good food in there, but we have to put that good energy. We have to ask our heart, what do you need for peace? What do you need for harmony? What do you need for happiness beyond your trauma? So you have this post-traumatic growth. So learn how to feed your heart. Learn how to what sparks your heart. How do you want your heart to feel, and where do you want to be in order for your heart to feel this way? We have a unique and individual connection to that sacred um, energy. So it's the soul. Whether you believe in you're spiritual or not, we have an energy. You can call it the soul, you can call it the heart's energy, you can call it the a chakra, but if until you learn to listen to that energy and detox your heart from trauma or anger or hatred, you're not going to have a happy heart. So living a life without a happy heart is very sad. It's very sad. There's a lot of anger in there. There's a lot of fear in there. So you owe it to yourself. So no drug on the world is going to help you have a happy heart. You have to have your by connecting with it and being one together.
Thank you so much for this insight. That shows that no matter the medicine we use, as I said earlier, I've been this type of guy who have done it before. Medicine, medicine, medicine. It doesn't fix it. You just make it go in a while and it comes back again. We need to fix that out. The way we are giving ourselves a beautiful food, the way we are giving ourselves a food that will make us fresh, the way we're making ourselves more beautiful, more handsome, we have to work on a way we could nourish that heart. That heart is very important. No matter how beautiful, no matter how handsome we are, no matter how we look good, probably in social media or anywhere we find ourselves, if the heart is damaged, it's not going to be easy. It's just going to be tough. You just be seeing the smile, and the smile is not there. And that is the most important thing. We need to know how we can feed the heart, and that is what you've brought into the. This is a very very important thing. It's a very big issue in
Mhm.
our time today. It's very very important. These little things are very important in our life today. I have to be honest. It's a very very important one.
Aw,
Thank you so much, Mrs.
that's
Katia, for
wonderful.
this. So I also there's a
You're
question
welcome.
I also normally ask during the end of the show from our forefathers, from our ancestors. There are a lot of things that do exist during our ancestral time that is missing in our time today. If there is anyone or anything you would like to bring back to our time today, Mrs. Katia, what do you think that thing will be, Mrs. Katia?
I think that again, in every culture, if you look hundreds and hundreds of years ago, all the cultural healing and practices and acknowledgement came from the soul, it came from the heart, and it was connected to Mother Earth. It was connected to the elements, the sun, the water, fire, moon. And we utilize that in our practices because our ancestors knew that collectively, if we use these types of historical, cultural methodologies, that we would need it at some point in time. And here we are in 2025. We need it more now than ever, right? So I think going back to our roots, go back to your cultural roots. 1,000 years ago, go look at what our ancestors were doing. What were because they had it right in the first place. They really had it right, and everything got distorted. Governments took over some of the healing methodologies, cultural genocide, cultural ethnostress, and for 400 or 500 years, we lost all that. Go back to your roots, and you will find natural healing, amazing, powerful methods in your mind as a collective, as a community to heal any disease that we have on this earth right now. Absolutely. And that's what I'm taking from the ancestors right now.
Oh, that is so beautiful. And that is what will definitely make Secret of Majestic Hearts really unique because those things are what is
Mhm.
being brought into that place to help one to learn on those important things because her heart is very, very important, as you said earlier, we need to make sure we could, the way we are taking our care of ourselves, we need to take care of the heart. And that is the beauty. We need to do that so that we could have a more fulfilling and happier life. I also want to honestly thank you for the time and the opportunity on speaking on this important topic, because whether we like it or not, we need to be happy. There's nothing, there's no reason we shouldn't be happy. Some people are even working, doing a lot of things, but their mind is just dead. And it is not meant to be like that. Even if we are having a little life or having something that is more little than anything, so far that heart is fulfilled, it is beautiful. And our ancestors have definitely brought all the solution. But we definitely hope that we definitely have this kind of connection with nature. Nature is important in our time. We need to connect with it to have this kind of healing so that we could definitely grow and have a more fulfilling and happier life. Thank you so much, Mrs. Katia.
It was a pleasure. I'm very happy to share this information with yourself, Temi, and I'm very happy to share this information with the world. So, this is my first book. I have three other books about the heart and connecting and healing. And my second book will go all into the collective and ancestral healing.
Yes, definitely be expecting that, Mrs. Katia. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, Mrs. Katia. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Take care.